Last time on SPPysch. Let's talk about Freud. Freud developed many theories in his time studying psychoanalysis, including his most famous, the Oedipus complex. Within the unconscious mind lay the id, Freud's theory of psychosexual development. In case you didn't pick up on it last time, the title is a pun, like Sigmund Freud. Freud's theory of psychosexual development proposes that as a child matures, they go through a series of developmental stages, each with its own physical focus, and that analyzing someone's life during those stages can show the reasons for their behavior as an adult. There are five stages: oral, anal, phallic, latency, and genital. During each of these stages, there is a specific part of the body or erogenous zone that the development is focusing on, hence the titles of the stages. The stage of latency is the only stage that doesn't have an erogenous zone, hence its title. The oral stage lasts from birth to 1.5 years. As the name suggests, you can tell that the erogenous zone for this stage is the mouth. This is because the child's main task during this stage is to wean off of breastfeeding. You've probably noticed that babies love to bite and chew and suck on anything they can get their hands on. The anal stage lasts from ages 1.5 to 3, and the erogenous zone is the anus. This is because the child is now learning how to be potty trained. The phallic stage lasts from 3 to 6 years old, and the erogenous stage is the penis. Wait. Hold the phone. How can the erogenous zone be the penis if not everyone has a penis? Well, Freud believed that while children with penises would focus on their penis, children without penises would focus on their lack of penis. Let's go into this further. A young boy with his erogenous zone as the penis will start to notice that his father has a penis as well, but his mother doesn't. For this, he will blame the father, thinking that he stole the mother's penis. The boy will develop castration anxiety, which is the fear that his father is going to cut off his penis, and will grow to hate and fear his father while growing to love his mother. And when I say love, Freud thought that they would marry their mothers, yeah. Therefore, the task for the boy during this stage is to learn to identify with his father rather than fear him, and to learn to admire his mother but not want to be with her, but rather to want to be with a woman like her. On the other side of this disgusting coin, the girl will start to desire her father and become very jealous of her mother. She will also develop penis envy, which is her wish to have a penis. Freud would say that young girls who carried around dolls were using that doll as a replacement for their penis. Her task during the stage is to learn how to identify with mom rather than be jealous of her. You've probably picked up on it by now, but this stage is what's commonly known as the Oedipus complex. At least the boys' part of it. The girls' part is called the Electra complex. The Oedipus complex is actually not a good name for this because it's named for the Greek legend of Oedipus, but Oedipus didn't even know he was having sex with his mother, and when he found out, he was so disgusted that he gouged his own eyes out. That doesn't sound like a guy who desires his mother to me. The latency stage takes place from ages 6 to puberty. You probably remember from your childhood that as a kid before 6 years old, people weren't really choosy with friends. They would be friends with whoever they were around. During the latency stage, the child's task is to start developing friendships with the same sex. The genital stage, from puberty to adulthood, is when the child, now teen, has to find love. Their task is to find a romantic partner or a passion for a career. During this stage, the erogenous zone is the genitals, aptly named. So for once, people without a penis can focus on their own genitals. Now you may be asking me, oh wondrous person on the TV screen who knows everything and just has the best hair, why does this all matter? Well, I'll tell you why it matters. Because of psychosexual fixation. Within the first 3 psychosexual stages, if a person's development is stunted or obscured in some way, it can lead to a psychosexual fixation. When someone has a fixation, it means that in times of stress, they will revert back to behaviors from that time period in their lives. For example, an oral fixation can be caused by early weaning or food deprivation. There are 2 types of oral fixations, oral receptive and oral aggressive. People who are oral receptive when they are stressed will revert to activities such as kissing, eating, and smoking cigarettes. People who are oral aggressive, however, will bite their nails, chew ice or chips, and be verbally aggressive. Anal fixation can be caused by parents being too harsh or too lenient during potty training. It can cause two kinds of fixations, anal expulsive and anal retentive. Anal expulsives are prone to huge angry outbursts and overdramatic thinking, while anal retentives are very neat and orderly. If you've ever heard somebody be called anal, as in fussy, that's where it comes from. A phallic fixation is caused by abnormal family dynamics, such as an absent mother or a very attentive father. Phallic fixation can cause self-absorption, vanity, and sexual promiscuity, or, on the other side, it can cause sexual anxiety and feelings of inferiority. These theories of fixation allowed Freudian therapists to attribute someone's problems to their past, which, while it can be useful for finding the reason for a problem, doesn't actually solve it. Nonetheless, psychoanalytic therapy was the most common form of therapy for a very long time. Cognitive behavioral therapy, the most common therapy now, was only introduced in 1960 and only became popular in the 2000s. CBT, rather than trying to find the underlying reasons for someone's illness, it will target the thoughts and behaviors that are caused by the illness and then challenge those. For example, if someone is having self-loathing thoughts, CBT asks them to challenge how realistic those thoughts actually are. This also applies to anxiety. If someone is very anxious about an upcoming meeting, CBT asks them, what do you actually have to be afraid of? What's the worst that could happen, and how likely is that? And now you may be asking, oh, beautiful educator, why are Freud's theories so obscure? Was he simply a product of his time? And to that I would say, thank you, you're too kind. But in all seriousness, Freud's theories were widely accepted in his time, even though no other psychologist would really speak out in the same way that he did about it. Many believe that Freud's skewed thinking can come from his childhood. He was very, very close to his stepmother growing up, and in his autobiography wrote that she would always refer to him as her favorite child, out of like 20. However, his father was very cruel to him. As punishment, he would often personally berate him, saying things like he'd never accomplished anything or that he was worthless. Now, I'm afraid we've come to the end of our time, but just remember, guys, Freud is a fucking weirdo.